Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have Djibouti hosts an extraordinary summit of IGAD leaders on the crisis in Sudan. United States blocks UN calls for immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic and Chairperson in office of IGAD, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, took an active part this morning in the works of the 41st Extraordinary Summit of the Head of State and Government of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development held at Djibouti Palace Kempinski. Among the distinguished participants were the President of the Sovereign Transitional Council of Sudan, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali, the Kenyan President William Ruto, the Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, and the representative of the President of the South Sudan and the Minister of Foreign Affairs and his country, James Pitia Morgan, took part in the 41st Summit of the Extraordinary, and IGAD and Ugandan Minister of Defense Vincent Bamulangaki Sempia. On their arrival at the Djibouti Palace Kempinski, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, successively welcomed the leaders of the IGAD member countries. The event also brought together a number of high-level officials, including the UN Secretary General, Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa, the Special Envoy of the US, and the Special Envoy of the Saudi Arabia, as well as several representatives of IGAD's friends and partners. During this meeting, the IGAD chairman in office, Ismail Omar Guelleh, led to exchange ideas and discuss the importance of this summit as a regional platform for addressing the challenges facing IGAD member countries. The leaders then took part in the traditional family photo, an emblematic moment symbolizing the unity of the IGAD countries. And this extraordinary summit offers a unique opportunity to strengthen regional cooperation and find collective solutions to the challenges facing the region. Today marks the start of the 41st Extraordinary Session of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, at the prestigious Kempinski Palace in Djibouti. The leaders of the member states have gathered to discuss the ongoing crisis in Sudan and the Horn of Africa, addressing crucial issues relating to security, trade, infrastructure, energy, and climate change. The summit, which takes place against the backdrop of a rapidly deteriorating situation in Sudan, aims to find concrete solutions. Discussion will focus on security and humanitarian conditions in the country, where fighting has exacerbated the deteriorations of strategic facilities and living conditions. The leaders in attendance, including representatives from Sudan, Djibouti, Uganda, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia, are exploring ways to support the support of Jeddah platform's process and adopt a plan combining the IGC's IGAD's proposal. The summit comes at a critical time when the Horn of Africa facing devastating floods caused by the heavy El Nino rains. These floods have led to a humanitarian catastrophe, displacing almost 2 million in Somalia and causing the tragic loss of 110 million lives. The material damage is considerable, with the thousands of homes destroyed and towns washed away. The emergency session is attended by representatives of the United Nations, the League of Arab States, as well as US and EU envoys to the Horn of Africa.
dadkuna aaminay dhulkooda Afrika laga maqal warkeene dadkuna aaminay dhulkooda Afrika laga maqal warkeene Ismaaciil waa ka hatan xilkayga lagu
Listen to the UN Secretary General's proposals invoice to the Republic of Djibouti's for the Republic of Sudan, Ramtan Lamamra, and the special envoy for the US, Ambassador Mike Hammers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the war in the Sudan continues to pose serious threats to the unity and territorial integrity of the Sudan, as well as to the security and stability of the whole region and beyond. Since the outbreak of the war nearly 8 months ago, the Sudanese people have been subjected to unspeakable suffering. The war is having a terrible impact on the situation of the human rights in the country, particularly on women and children. The Sudan is now the country with the largest number of displaced people in the world. Considering the grave situation in the Sudan, there is an obvious, urgent need to redouble our collective efforts to prevent the country from descending into further chaos.
Your Excellencies, good afternoon. I bring greetings from President Biden and Secretary Blinken. We thank you for inviting the United States to address this key group of leaders and for the opportunity to discuss what we can do together to bring an end to the terrible conflict in Sudan. Thank you to our host, President Gele, as chair of IGAD, also to Dr. Workney and his team for pulling this summit together. I also want a special thanks to the Djiboutian people for their very warm welcome. All protocols observed. The United States commends IGAD on this initiative and for enabling us to partner together with the African Union and others in the international community to harmonize our efforts on Sudan. The war in Sudan is not only a crisis for the Sudanese, but also for the region and indeed our global community. The violence unleashed in April has resulted in displacement, death, and destruction across Sudan, and it must stop. This extraordinary summit comes at an inflection point in the war when the trends on the ground are deeply worrying, threatening the territorial integrity of the country. Sudanese civilians are bearing the increasingly untenable costs of this needless conflict. The resulting humanitarian crisis is one of the worst in the world.
The chairman of the African Commission, Moussa Faki Mohamed, underlines the importance of these crucial meetings. In addition to the humanitarian challenges posed by the floods, the summit will also address to the war crisis in Sudan, which has already claimed the lives of over 10,000 people and 7 million since mid-April.
Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic of Djibouti and Chairman of IGAD. Excellencies, Head of State, Government and Delegation, ladies and gentlemen, the acute crisis ravaging the Sudan is a real disaster. The situation has deteriorated and there is a flagrant and widespread violation of human rights and the international humanitarian law, and the sufferings of the civilians have become unbearable. Investigations will be carried out and those found guilty of perpetrating the crimes should be made accountable of their acts. It puts the region and the continent into deep sadness and poses the most serious risks of instability to the entire region and even beyond. The current disaster has highlighted the remarkable achievement made in 2019. In the meantime, we made tireless efforts with IGAD and the United Nations to promote political dialogue to put the democratic transition back on track. We have made enormous progress in this direction. I talked with both leading protagonists to convince them about the need for an affirmative and helpful action, but unfortunately, the war broke out with all the attendant sad consequences of loss of human lives and damage and destruction of the country. Following the outbreak of hostilities, we called for a high-level international conference to unite the international community on the triptych of cessation of hostilities, opening of humanitarian corridors, and initiation of a political dialogue between the Sudanese themselves.
The Executive Secretary of IGAD, Workneh Gebeyehu, as we convene in unity and solidarity in support of our IGAD family members in the Republic of Sudan, the challenges they are facing demand our collective wisdom, commitment, and concerted effort. Listen to him.
Your Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic of Djibouti, Chair and host of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development IGAD, and member of the IGAD delegates, all protocol is observed. It is with great honor and a deep sense of responsibility that as your Executive Secretary of IGAD, I welcome your Excellencies to the 41st Extraordinary Assembly of IGAD Heads of State and Government. As we convene, your Excellencies, in unity and solidarity, in support of our IGAD family members in the Republic of Sudan, the challenges they are facing demand our collective wisdom, commitment, and concrete action. Our region stands at a critical juncture with ongoing conflict in Sudan casting a shadow over the aspiration of a peaceful and prosperous, the greater Horn, that is Horn of Africa. Your Excellencies, today I wish to draw your attention with cautious optimism to the recent partial agreement reached during the Jeddah talks, which made a significant step forward in setting the issue of humanitarian access. This agreement, while commendable, now requires your leadership, our urgent attention and effective implementation to alleviate the imminent suffering endured by our brothers and sisters in the Republic of Sudan. Our fellow citizens in the Republic of Sudan continue bearing the burden of this protracted conflict. And it is our moral duty, Your Excellencies, to expedite the implementation of the partial resolution of the Jeddah Agreement, which has been co-facilitated by IGAD under your leadership, Your Excellencies. The agreement on the humanitarian access is a lifeline for urgently needed assistance to reach those in desperate need. And we must ensure that the promises made translated into tangible relief on the ground.
The plight of the Sudanese people is not merely a statistics or a news headline. It is a stark and a deeply troubling reality that demands our attention and action, said the head of state and chairman in offices of IGAD, Ismail Omar Guelleh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, heads of states and governments, Excellency ministers and heads of delegation, chairperson of the AU Commission, Executive Secretary of IGAD, personnel envoy of UN Secretary General, distinguished members of the diplomatic corps and international organizations, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. On behalf of the government and the people of Djibouti, I extend a warm welcome to all of you, Excellencies. I particularly welcome His Excellency Abdul Fattah Abdul Rahman al-Burhan, President of Sudan's Sovereign Council, among us today. I am grateful that despite the pressing demands of your respective offices, you have prioritized the 41st Extraordinary Assembly of Heads of States and Governments convened to address the situation in Sudan. This is a testament to our shared commitment to the principles that unites us as a regional force for peace, stability, and prosperity. I would also like to express my gratitude to the Executive Secretary, Dr. Warqine Gabayo, and his team for their efficiency in organizing this summit on short notice. Ladies and gentlemen, the plight of the Sudanese people is not merely a statistic or a news headline. It is a stark and a deeply troubling reality that demands our attention and action. According to the United Nations, the ongoing conflict that has resulted in the displacement of over 2.5 million people and the death of estimated 300,000 individuals.
Listen once again to the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh.
Today, we stand together, our hearts heavy with the burden of the challenges faced by our Sudanese brethren. The escalating violence, which has seen a 64% increase in the past year, poses a grave threat to the very existence of Sudan and the stability of our region. Silencing the guns in Sudan is not a choice. It is an absolute necessity to prevent further suffering and the potential collapse of this great nation. It is our duty to actively engage in facilitating a comprehensive peace agreement that ensures an end to the fighting, allows for the delivery of humanitarian aid, and initiate a peaceful dialogue. The establishment and respect of a ceasefire is of utmost urgency. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reports that 9.3 million in Sudan are in need of humanitarian assistance. It is thus incumbent upon us to ensure that aid reach those who need it most, particularly in conflict-affected areas. Ceasefire is vital as it holds the key not only to alleviate the suffering and addressing the basic necessities like food, water, but it is also an essential prerequisite for dialogue. The suffering endured by our Sudanese brothers and sisters compels us to unite and act swiftly to alleviate their pain. We commend the efforts of Sudanese and international humanitarian actors in this regard. We also fully support the work of the AU expanded mechanism and the discussions facilitated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United States.
The President of the Republic of Djibouti, Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the Chairman of IGAD, Hamid, the brotherly Sudanese people are in deep need today of ensuring the spirit of peace and establishing security and stability, and the world is watching this meeting. Therefore, the Governmental Authority for Development, IGAD, must fulfill its role properly as is the main facilitator. We are better equipped to understand and address the root causes of the conflict. In this context, today's summit can be a beacon of hope or a symbol of despair. The brotherly Sudanese people are waiting for a gesture that will convince them that there are fate matters to the regional and continental Britons, and they are also carried out about the fate of the regional and continental Britain. We must not let these hopes fade. Let us harness the power of our unity to promote dialogue, understanding, and reconciliation. When we are together, we certainly have the capacity to make a difference and reshape the destiny of our region. I hope our esteemed Council realizes the gravity of this turning point in history. I hope that the decisions we make here will be a beacons of hope for the people we service. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we reiterate our strong condemnations and denunciation of Israel's brutal and continuing aggression against the Gaza Strip, as well as the forced displacement of the population of defenseless civilians and the destruction of infrastructure. We demand an immediate halt to this heinous crime, whose continuation is a shameful blot on the face of the international community in the face of the Israeli massacres that have crossed all borders and the international silence about them. We believe in the inevitable of total victory for the Palestinian resistance. In this respect, we reaffirm our absolute support and full backing for the struggle of the brotherly Palestinian people until they regain their rights to be occupied and to establish their independent state on the borders of June 4, 1967, with the East Jerusalem as its capital. In conclusion, I wish our meeting succeeds, and I thank you for your attention. Listen, and may God's peace and mercy and blessing be upon you. The report from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, has said that the 41st Extraordinary IGAD Summit was held. So today, the chief of the IGAD states were present. Our countries, as you know, presided so these sessions, and the central questions and the debates revolved around the Sudanese question is how to ensure that first stop to outpouring our blood, achieve ceasefires, allow the belligerent to meet, and then launch the political process. I believe that after whole days of discussions and debates between leaders, we really arrived at convincing results. The first result is that the two generals have agreed to stop the conflict and above all to meet. So the head of state spoke to General Hamiti and General Burhan in order to that within 15 days at the latest this meeting takes place, and that measures of peace, of building peace and confidence can be put in place in order to stop. It is not this conflict. I believe that the initiatives that were on the tables previously were merged into that IGAD today. It can be said with the confidence that IGAD has taken over the reins of the initiative. She has resumed, I would say, the work which is hers to be able to bring African solutions to the African problem, regional solution for a problems that exists in our region, and so that the head of state come from finish their discussions. President Guelleh was able to speak with all the head of state who have come since this morning. He spoke with the special envoys. We have had the special envoys of the Secretary General of the United Nations, and again Lamamran, the special envoy of the U.S., Mike Hammer, the envoy special from the United Arab Emirates. So the president really did the questions by listening to everyone and got a very clear idea of how IGAD could move forward in order to allow these brother countries, which is Sudan, to restore peace. I believe there is still a long way to go, but in any case, the intentions have been expressed. A calendar has been set place and will then follow all actions relating to the political process as well as measures to build confidence between the belligerents. But it should also be noted that the President Ruto played a central role in these actions, which is carried out by IGAD, and we really want to thank all the heads of state who came to look into these questions of Sudan, which still remains a catastrophe tragedy. A situation is humanitarian, which is unspeakable, as the suffering of the Sudanese people is unbearable. Today, more than 5 million children are out of school, 25 million people are food insecure, 6 million Sudanese are on the verge of famine, more than 6 million have been displaced. The whole country is stopped in fact, and the country is plunging into the economic disaster, structural, social, and it is time for IGAD countries, is not it to take this responsibility, but the harm and go try to help the Sudanese to resolve this problem, which is a problem is frankly that history Sudan has not experienced it, and it is a disaster. There is no other word. The Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed Ali has left the capital after his participation for the 41 summit of IGAD, led to the exchanges ideas and discussed the importance of this summit as a regional platform for addressing the challenges facing IGAD member countries. The leaders then took part in the an emblematic moment symbolizing the unity of the IGAD countries, symbolizing the unity and exploration. The President of the Sovereign Transitional Council of Sudan, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, has left the capital after his participation to the 41 summit of IGAD, led to exchange ideas and discuss the importance of this summit as a regional platform for addressing the challenges facing the IGAD countries' leader. The President of the African Commission, Musa Faki Mohammed, has left the capital after his participation in the 41 summit of IGAD, led to exchange ideas and discuss the importance of this summit as a regional platform for addressing the challenges. And this extraordinary, we have a little welcome in the magazine to the beautiful Djibouti country of Djibouti, known for its rich culture, a breathtaking sceneries, and impressive infrastructure. Listen to this magazine.
Welcome to the beautiful land of Djibouti, a country known for its rich cultural, breathtaking landscapes and impressive infrastructures. Located in the Horn of Africa, Djibouti is a small nation with big ambitions. Its strategic location along the Red Sea has made it a gateway for international trade and hub for regional connectivity. Djibouti boasts a world-class infrastructure that have positioned it as a key player in global logistics. Its state-of-the-art ports, such as the Port of Djibouti, serve as virtual gateways for goods flowing between Africa, Asia, and Europe. The country has invested significantly in its transportation networks, including modern highways, railways, and an expanding air transportation system. The newly constructed Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway has greatly facilitated trade and connectivity between Djibouti and its neighboring countries. Djibouti's capital city, also named Djibouti, showcases the country's impressive urban development. It is home to modern skyscrapers, bustling markets, and a vibrant cultural scene. Moreover, Djibouti takes pride in its commitment to renewable energy. The country has embraced solar power, harnessing its abundant sunlight to provide clean and sustainable energy for its people. But it's not just about the infrastructures. Djibouti is a country brimming with natural wonders. From the otherworldly landscapes of Lac Assal, the lowest point in Africa, to the breathtaking beaches along the coastline, Djibouti offers a unique and unforgettable experience for nature lovers. Djibouti's infrastructures, coupled with its warm hospitality and rich cultural heritage, make it an ideal destination for investment, tourism, and collaboration. The future looks bright for Djibouti as it continues to grow and prosper on the global stage. Join us in discovering the wonders of Djibouti, where modern infrastructures meet natural beauty. Djibouti, the land of opportunities and endless possibilities.
On Thursday evening, the Turkish embassy hosted an evening of friendship in honor of the third edition of the Djibouti International Fair. The event symbolized the strong ties between Djibouti and Turkey, strengthening cooperation in various fields. During this memorable evening, representatives of both nations celebrate the continuing momentum of their fruitful partnership. The warm exchanges highlighted the flourishing collaboration in sectors as diverse economic and cultural diplomacy. The Japanese embassy plays a central role in promoting bilateral relations through its lasting commitment to sustainable bilateral cooperation. The event was attended by distinguished key figures, the Secretary of State for Investment and Private Sector Development, Safiya Mohammed Ali Gadile, the President of the Chamber of Commerce, Yusuf Musa Dawale, as well as Djibouti Turkish businessmen. Embraces they saluted the fraternal relations between the two brotherly countries. On Tuesday, December 5, 2023, the USAID-funded Play to Learn Player project organized in collaboration with MENFOP a ceremony to hand over school kit to the Victoire private school. The ceremony was attended by USAID's deputy representatives in Djibouti, Ms. Lauren Grebel, MENFOP representatives, including Nagala Mohamed Saeed, inspectoress of the press, Fozia Ismail Ahmed, and the state headmasters, as well as school officials and parents from the Victoire private school. USAID representative Lauren Grebel underlines the importance of this project for improving preschool education in Djibouti. She asserted that the Play to Learn project will help to strengthen people's skills, preparing them to better integrate elementary school. The Play to Learn project, implemented in collaboration with the MENFOP and the Ministry of Women and Family, aims to support the government's visions for the development of the preschool education, which is to ensure 1 year of preschool for 100% of 5-year-olds by 2013. Within this framework, the project supports the enrollment of the vulnerable children in private school, helping to increase the number of children benefiting from quality preschool education. Under the patronage of the Ministry of Health, the NGO PLA organized a meeting to mobilizations and awareness raising meeting for local players in the fight against malnutrition in partnership with UNICEF and AFD. The event brought together elders, women leaders, and community health workers from 5 rural localities that are landlocked far from the chief town of Ali Sabih. These localities are Gestir, Ali Adde, Danan, Asamo, Galile. The meeting was opened by the president of the Ali Sabih Regional Council, Sharmaki Hassan Al-Lale, and the second deputy of the prefect, Omar Idris Suge, and the health focal points at the Ali Sabih Regional Hospital. The latter thanked UNICEF and IFD for their financial support for this important operation, and the NGO PLA operation and the NGO PLA for its support in training community health workers. They went on to encourage participants to mobilize and inform pregnant and nursing mothers in their respective localities that our mobile team from the Ali Sabih Regional Hospital will soon be coming to provide a screening for malnutrition, vitamin and iron supplement, vaccination checks, and other medical care and other appropriate medical care. The elders and women leaders took turns thanks to the Ministry of Health and local authorities for this timely medical intervention. On the morning of Thursday, 7 December 2023, the prefect of Obok, Musa Adan Migane, visited the locality of Mi'deho, 41 kilometers from the capital of Obok, on Mount Mabla, as part of our working missions, accompanied by the head of the region's various decentralized services. The prefect's visit is part of the third leg of his tower of contact with the rural population. On his arrival in Mi'deho, he was warmly welcomed by the population of Mi'deho, led by the customary chief Abdul Qadir Saleh Muhammad, the village chief Hanifa, and Mr. Hamad Saeed Muhammad, a local executive. The meeting between the representatives of the state and the community took place in courtyards of the school in a convivial and friendly atmosphere. The meeting between the representatives of the state and the community took place in the school's courtyard in a convivial atmosphere and was marked by fruitful exchanges. Taking the floor, first Mr. Abdul Qadir Saleh, the customary chief, after welcoming the prefect, raised as much three major issues. These were access problems linked to the poor state of the runway, lack of quality nurses, the need for a dormitory, and the problems with the school roof. This was followed by a speech of Hanifa, the village chief, who first thanked the prefect for the visit and then raised the issue of Wader's Lake of borehole.
ay ku soo dhawaada walaalayaal barwaaqiyoon iyo samii inkiigayaynikunaba kul salarxiba xayularxiba inkiigayaynikunaba kul salarxiba xayularxiba.
For the international scene, U.S. blocks UN call for immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza. Listen to
The State on Friday voted the Security Council resolution calling for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, despite pressure from the Secretary General who denounced the collective punishment inflicted on the Palestinians. The draft resolution, which received 30 votes in favor, one against United States and one abstention in United Kingdom, was prepared by United Arab Emirates after the unprecedented invasion by Antonio Guterres on Wednesday of Article 99 of the United Nations Charter, allowing the Secretary General to draw the attention of the Council to a matter which could endanger the maintenance of international peace and security.
This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.